Welcome, YouTube follower. Or if you're new, hi, welcome. Gwen here, Gwen the Recovering Witch. Um, Thank you for visiting my video and my channel. Um, if you are new, it would be much appreciated if you like, subscribe, comment, and share because I say sharing is caring. That is the golden rule when we learn when we are younger. And for those who just subscribed, welcome back and thank you for the comments. Thank you for taking the time to say hello and introduce yourself. And if you have a channel, and getting to know one another. So I'm super happy. Today is Monday. I just finished filming for the glamour video that's going to be uploaded. That will be uploaded and posted today. But I wanted to knock a couple of videos out of the way, so I wasn't really working on it through most of the week. And Ember Honey Raven, thank you, my friend. Thank you for giving us creators permission, for not having to edit, having to just get back down to the nitty gritty and just feel like talking about what we're talking about. And just overall, thank you. If you have not followed Ember Honey Raven, she is the reason why Wedin is into play. It is witching every day in November. And so the point for her to start it was for her to start being accountable on her craft. And she opened the invitation up. She said, hey, like, if you want to play along, awesome. But if not, like, hey, she's just doing it because she wants to. She's also on Patreon, and she started out on YouTube. But again, this has been really awesome because I have been finding other creators, other witches that I would not have found because of Ember. So, Honey Raven, thank you. Thank you so much. From another Southern girl to another, I thank you. Because this has been really fun. I have really been enjoying myself doing these videos. So I did want to say a big thank you, and I will have another video coming up this week on those who have been doing the Wedin challenge. I hope they don't mind, but again, I kind of feel like as more people are found, really having in-depth conversations about things, about the craft, about our life, personal things. I really want to give a shout out to these people because they all have their own uniqueness. And I appreciate every single one. Every single one. So I do want to list that out, and I have been checking daily to see who has been jumping on the bandwagon for Wedin witching every day in November, and making sure that I find who is doing it and following along, because sometimes we need that support. And yeah, so without further ado, today's topic I'm going to talk about, because there is somebody that I have been recently introduced to for following her YouTube channel is Thorn Mooney, okay? And she's got, let me tell y'all, she is somebody that I kind of feel like I wish we were neighbors. Kind of like the person where you just really want to sit and like have coffee with someone and just talk about many things. And she is very well spoken, very well educated. She is a teacher. She has written a couple books, and here I am like already stumbling on my words, but she has written a couple books, and I find a lot of her topics that she's covered on YouTube really awesome, and things that I have gotten into thinking about, situations I've already gotten into, some advice, and just kind of marinating it over. This morning, if y'all know that I am in recovery, I'm in a 12-step program. I went to a meeting this morning, and it's a meditative meeting, and it was talking about things that we have. I mean, we always talk about gratitude and gifts in the program, and again, it was really a lot of the topics that have come through in the message I heard in meditation this morning. And I also had another meeting at 10 o'clock. It's a women's meeting that I typically go to. That we read stories in the back of our big book literature. So it's out of Alcoholics Anonymous. And we're reading one of the stories. It's called The Late Start. And I was reading a paragraph. And the main point from where we left off today, because we kind of read for an hour, we discuss, and then if we run out of time, we continue on to next week. So, one, it is my mission, even when I got sober, to not revert back to old behavior. I have to be willing, I have to be honest, and I have to be open-minded. And I got in the sense of really wanting to share because it was a certain paragraph that I had read, and I had been given the gift in sobriety, and now in my practice, the gift and the manifestation of neutrality. Okay. Not that I'm going to really be talking about neutrality on this topic, but it's a lot of the characteristics that come along with it. But I did want to talk about being a witch and being married today. And the neutrality of my emotions, the neutrality of the energy that I receive and I put out. Yes, I do need to still set up and establish boundaries, which I'm still working on. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. It's things that you work on and it progresses over time. But I did like Thorne's topic in regards to her being married and a part of her craft. And I did want to talk about a little about mine, not like anything too personal, but I did really relate to her, and I will put that link down below if you would like to watch what her take on was the marriage. But I did resonate a lot with the similarities of what she had to say. But yeah, my husband and I, we have been together. This coming April of next year will be 19 years. Okay. We've been married for 9. We dated the rest. And we have seen each other grow up. We have been through the good times and the worst of times. And you know, he has really been very supportive in a lot of things that I do, especially this. And I respect his boundaries as well, not really making him public or showing his face. My niece, however, on the other hand, she thinks this is really cool, you know, and she's always on social media all the time. So she's kind of struck an interest, and she's a really big part of my life, and embracing the new that has come in of 2020. So this year has really revolved around, sorry guys, Rex, our little guardian here, is trying to protect the house. But anyway, this is my home. So, yeah, so we have had our niece live with us. Me learning in my practice, and figuring out what the rest of the year was going to look like and what I was going to be working on. And I will have to say there had been times when I didn't really talk a whole lot about my abilities, and mind y'all, this was one of the things that I drank over, okay? A lot of things that I did not want to accept because I already felt different. I didn't think I was any normal, whatever normal means to the next person. But I just felt like I didn't fit in, you know, as a peg in a square hole in a stool somewhere. But my husband had always accepted me because regardless of my weirdness or things that I could not accept for myself, he still accepted me. Um, and even through when I was not in my highest points in my life. So he is an atheist. He has been a part of the religion for Jehovah's Witness. He said that maybe he kind of switched from here to there from certain things. He is from a different country, but he came here and he is a citizen now. But he got here around maybe the age of 5 or 6, maybe. Um, and so he's pretty Americanized now, but I think a lot of with his atheism, he is also an engineer. It's his logical ways of thinking, things that apply that don't apply. He looks at universes, just the bigger picture. Things just happening just the way that they do, but not really like a bigger cause to it. But he is open to the idea of when friends say, hey, I have something major coming up. Can you pray for me? And he does not like scoff at the idea. I've asked him the same thing. When we got married, because I do still have a part of the Catholic teachings. He said he was going to limit the visits to 2 times a year. So he has been a trooper, and when we've gone for Easter, Christmas, or whatever, something that's really special, he'd go. But if I was going because I needed that spiritual uplift, typically I would fly solo. Haha, see what I did there? Anyway, but yeah, so when I started to tell him what I was thinking about and abilities that started to happen, because a lot of things happened at the end of last year, tail end. I was starting to get messages again, starting to think, well, is it me? Am I going nuts again? Or like, what is happening? Because mental health is very important, and I'm very appreciative of a 12-step recovery program not being religious. It is a spiritual program, which I think it really helped, where it was like, I can kind of go whichever direction, not be judged for it. But again, we are in a southern state. We are in Texas, and a lot of people, they're either Baptist, Catholic, Christian, whatever you want to call it. But they refer to Jesus Christ or God, whatever their practice is. But we do have a lot of people who have different practices in the program. So I was very appreciative to the fact of, choosing a God of your own understanding. Now today, it's kind of like still the old implemented teachings of what a higher power, what God is to me, the Catholic teachings. And then I have my goddess, the Morrigan, and kind of incorporating it to where it feels comfortable to me. And, before I had dived into that decision, she's just like, look, I shapeshift and I can be many forms. And so it made it seem like it's a little bit better, but I'm trying to like tailor my spirituality practice and my craft around all of it, and around her. And if she doesn't like something, she will be like, hey, again, it's not often, but like the video I did with like my personal relationship and spirit experience with the Morrigan, I had to do the video twice. Because again, I am being a representation of her, and again, if I'm about to say something, I better put it off the right way. So yeah, but anyway, as far as like marriage, it was kind of hard explaining to my husband about like the Morrigan and what he knew, because he's very well educated, he reads a lot, and he was like, wait a minute, are we talking about like the war goddess here, and dark goddess? And I said, yeah. And he was like, okay, so you just picked up a statue because you heard it, and what do you do? It was kind of like it's kind of like you research just before you dive in. And now he is very comfortable with it. Spirit guide George, guardian angel Sarah, and I'll have these conversations, but I kind of like introduce it in a very like subtle way and be like, yeah, I had this idea, and I kind of had to have like a little conversation with George. So George is now entered in our home, and George actually really likes it. Because he's like, yes, she's being her authentic self, and Sarah really enjoys it too because she's like a little cheerleader, and and but it's still getting that acceptance piece because he is my other half, but we are our own individual person. So he tries to come off in a neutrality, but when I explain things to him, there was a time, again, how I perceived things and what his attitude was. Like maybe he didn't really care. It doesn't apply to him. I don't know why he's asking. Or yeah, is it really out of curiosity? So it's kind of like you have to get ego out of the way, get higher self brought in, not take offense when he says things, and just answer as best as you can. And if I don't have an answer, not bullshit and be like, I don't have an answer for you. And that's why I feel like between my personal practice of what I'm learning, for spirituality purposes and relationship with the Morrigan, and the more I learn, with I guess it would be Celtic paganism, and then you have my 12-step program, 12-step recovery. It already taught me how to remove ego out of the way and check myself. So that has really helped. And I guess what really inspired this video was a conversation we had last night, and we had a really awesome day, between the three of us here in this household. We went to a museum. It was not packed. And my niece is very into learning more about the Holocaust, so we did end up going to the Houston Holocaust Museum yesterday, and it was very emotional and very moving, and I was trying to absorb and read, and really I couldn't help it. Like I got sucked into the place, and got overwhelmed. My niece got overwhelmed, because it was some really serious shit, y'all. I mean, you can learn about it in history books, watch movies, and things like that, but the more stories that you hear about these things, you can't help but feel a certain way. And yeah, but overall, it was a very good day that we all spent together. And when I got home, just reflecting on what I had seen, what we had experienced, us spending time together, and then I had like a little bit of self-doubt come in before we went to bed, and I didn't say anything, but it was almost kind of like we were wired from the day, like our minds just couldn't shut off and couldn't sleep. And we've gotten like really, it's been kind of hard where we're trying to like find times to connect together because there is now a kid into play, but it is very important. And so the last couple days we really have connected, and it's really been with like communication. And I had mentioned something he had mentioned on Saturday, and we were just kind of observing something, and it was this older gentleman, and he was doing like Uber Eats delivery, I guess, and he's like, wow, he's like, I really hope the guy's like not having to like work, because he has to, with the way that things are going today. And then it like spiraled into this conversation about 401ks and what he had learned, and a conversation that he had. So I was really listening to him, and it kind of struck something in me. Okay, those are the things I have to pay attention to. But I was really paying attention and I was being engaged, but it was something that I was like, it's something I really need to look at and think about and look at later. So, um, yeah, so I had brought it up again last night because it was one of the things that was swirling around in my head. And he just said, wow, I didn't really realize how well you were like paying attention, and you took it like further to an extent. And it really made you think, like it really surprised him. So, again, neutrality was kind of like the one thing. Again, I was still kind of like applying the things like to my life and what I see myself as an individual. But yet it wasn't really something that was so major where like ego had to like get in the way and just be like, oh my God, like overreact a certain way. But the thing that I see with him, and I express to him what I am manifesting, is trying to be his equal. Um, I know that might sound bad, or I don't even know what I'm saying, but I'm just speaking through the heart here and just listen. So, for some time, I felt like, I had to really like push aggressively to be an equal on some sort of level, but it was like being like so masculine to where the feminine was just kind of right down here. And it was never like a cohesive balance between the two. And now I feel like I've got a footing in that, still kind of getting there, like a temperance, just kind of like that flow, um, and working with what I have. Um, it I was explaining that to him, and I feel like the more so now with what me coming out, me um not hiding, I guess. I think he finds that something a little more admirable. So he is paying attention, he is asking questions, and because he truly cares, it's not for like him just to shit on things. And he knows that like the whole purpose of me wanting to dive deeper into my spirituality is because it was one conversation I had with my cousin who is in Brazil. She is a medium, and she is practicing karombe. And I said, well, what made you want to get into the practice in the first place? And she's like, well, one, it was our ancestors, and two, I just wanted to be a better person. So it really gave me a lot to think about. And yeah, it was the same thing with the 12-step program. It was like I just wanted to be a better person. And more so now, it's like the same thing too with me being a witch. It's me being in tune with nature, it's being in tune with fellow humans, having the humanity, it's being, um, not being quick to anger. Again, the love and discernment piece. And I say that because I did a video on love and light, and I had asked White Raven her take on it, and love and discernment. And I was like, that is exactly what it is. So thank you, White Raven, for that. It is love and discernment. And and yeah, so again, removing myself out of the way, but the protection of others, that are near and dear to me. But at the same time, too, regardless what happens to me, I know how to defend myself. But I am not going to be quick to anger because I know what peace and serenity looks like. And so, but I was super quick to anger. I was a very angry person. But yeah, I know this kind of goes like back and forth a little bit, but there are some things I'm sure he's probably like questioning about, like the rhyme and reason of things, but he's very conscious about a lot of things too. He's conscious about our garden. Um, as far as with like our I just basically the state of what our earth is like and being kind to Mother Earth. He does that. He's very sympathetic when it comes to animals. You know, and he's not quick to anger himself. So that is okay for him. That's just his way of life. And I really have been appreciative of that. I did want to do a spoof video, because there have been times where it's just kind of like, bro, I told you I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I can't be interrupted. But I think it's kind of like that concern to make sure that I am okay, because he does wonder, you know, A, can she really make it happen? And B, like, maybe if she's not careful, maybe something could happen. Um, so I do appreciate that genuine concern, but yes, I'm very well protected. Thank you. But yeah, maybe that might be another video for another day. Not to make fun of him, but I think it does come up more often than what we think when we get married and we get into the practice. But we tell people, or it's like later down the line when we get married and just being like, hey, I'm doing this. And they're just like, oh, okay, I love you anyway. You know, just do your research. And, you know, there's like certain things like the rhyme and reason. So, yeah. So anyways, guys, I didn't really want to go over this long for this video, but I did really just want to have like in-depth conversation about has been what it's been like as far as me being married, being a witch, practicing my craft, and my spiritual piece of it too, with incorporating with the program. So I just wanted to say, you know, yes, there might be some bumps, but hang in there, because love does manifest and it is there. So yeah, and if it is really true love, then it will last for a lifetime. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I will see you at the next video. Bye.